Okay. Ooh. Okay. خب مایند ما یه صفحه پلین ببین و ببین پوینت های روی این پلین کانستنتلی دارن بالا پایین میپرن. We have different levels of a plane experiencing multiple levels. یعنی چی؟ یعنی یه قسمت یک دیمنشن داره مالتی دیمنشنالیتی تجربه میکنه و یه قسمتش کامپلیتلی ثابته تو اون دیمنشن. خب و we see these lines. و مایند آدم وقتی میخواد when the mind of man wants to connect dots, what he sees is he draws lines. So you constantly draw lines between how dimensions work, but dimensions don't work as lines. They work as pre-shaped natural design. But natural design is change, but what is to us like such a huge change is actually nothing. It's stillness. Hope for another experience of being. So understanding this means it's not that we are changing dimensionalities. Similar to how I'm using words, similar to how we have bodies, but we can experience through different bodies, we can experience through different spiritual bodies. So we have the same experience as a bird, as a galaxy, because there is a connectivity of spiritual essence. But we call it spiritual because that's the only word that is the reach of our fingers until we explode with gas, as a star does. So we continue. But look at this illumination. But look at how a black hole is a black hole in the mind of man. I've always talked about this. But a black hole is the spot that man accepts he cannot see because light does not pass through. But light is our information. So if we bring this understanding of dimensions with not measurement but with light, with the nature of light, we see that the nature of light is one that explores itself. It radiates, it's present. So the intelligence of presence is not the same intelligence as the linearization and connecting dots of the mind. So we have different beings on our planet, different species working with different mindsets. So we have the clash of different developments of mind. And when we say mind, of thought, of how thought has developed, our history has rooted from different intelligences of being. So we see these intelligences. Where do these archetypes lead? Where do they come from? Where do these archetypes of individual design come from? When you look at your core self, you see roles, you see identities, you see images that are senses of self. What gives you the pen to draw the line of self? And you see that pen is held in a hand that is invisible to you because it is not in this dimensional experience. So we see that we have beings on one segment of our reality who are only in a solid experience, and we have those who are having multidimensional experiences through their own methods of exploration. But what does that mean? Let's take this now as the mind. So we see this individual being is just part of another process in a greater mind. So we see the problem that we are trying to tackle is actually natural design. So we are to simply absorb in natural design, but to see that we live on in these subtler spiritual bodies that are not using just the memory of this lifetime, but are using the memory that is the cosmos. Because every being has access to their present through memory. And memory and presence create a mirror of infinity. It's two mirrors in front of one another. Right? That infinity is elusive only when you put a design. When you don't create, nothingness is clear. So we have the clarity of the mind. Now we have images. How do we have clarity at the same time? We want to build something in this life. We want to write a book. We have ambitions. We have individual intentions to create specific things in a certain dimension. We see that the work has to be a functioning of a greater mind. So this mind that feels it is not part of the greater mind has to dissolve. And this is where we light our own flames, and immediately we look at each idea. We become messengers. We take the greatest light we can see and we become the messenger, a transparent lens that communicates to every idea that we have. Each idea begins to listen because each idea understands its place. Presence is not understood only in self, but every idea that could conceive another. And so the reality of our nature becomes absorbed in a present that allows in infinite separation to work with. The designer needs to observe the separation to be able to understand why it is the creator. And so we have had this concept that existence is here to exist in its own eyes. It is here to explore itself. But what does that mean for the exploration of man? We must invent within the eyes of existence. And so our inventions become as natural and as simple as seeds sprouting from the soil of our dirtiest past, of our dirtiest future, and any sense that could become absorbed in novelty. Because every page that we read, there is the next book which we am inspired towards. So our sense of finding our own inspiration is our divinity. Our finding of our greatest peak of creative inspiration is our touch of being in the state of divinity in which we are observing our past, all the individuations and all the problems and troubles and mistakes of all lifetimes as the past. All that individuality has all become absorbed through one collective glimpse. And once you have the one collective glimpse to absorb a lifetime, you can let go of that lifetime. And so we are mere teardrops in which light is illuminating, you know. And now we dive into the stomach of a man who's hungry. I'm kidding. Much blessings and namaste.